to it, so it'll re-download it. So it wasn't in my repo. So once you download it, you can unpack it. Now what we'll do is import in the DAE of the dummy in the Blender. Like just file import DAE. Downloads. Where is it at? I just put it on the desktop. Heavy dummy. All right, so this is the dummy. Now, if you want to do this, you're going, and this is the same thing for people who ask about scaling cars, small and large. Now, this is just a DAE. It's actually got a Jbeam also. Let me go ahead and just show y'all that while I'm at it. This is a great way to explain this. If I hide him and you just see the DAE file, now I'm going to load the Jbeam for this thing, and you'll see what it looks like. Let's see, here it is, dummy Jbeam. So that's the Jbeam. This is actually what has the physics. This is what controls what makes it move and everything. Not to get all into explaining everything, but the thing is this is like the bones inside your body, right? This is what actually makes you move. Well, you know, the muscles actually move the bones, but you know what I mean. That's this. That's a Jbeam. That is a Jbeam. The DAE is actually the visible mesh that you see. This is what is being represented by these shapes. Does that make sense? So just like a human body, if you were to say make your bones grow 10 times larger, then you would also need to make the skin of your body grow 10 times larger. And opposite to that, say you wanted to make the skin 10 times smaller, then the Jbeam would also need to be 10 times smaller, or it's going to look crazy. Now, to scale a Jbeam, it's not as simple as just picking. You would think, maybe can I just pick all these in here and say scale? You probably could, but this is just a dummy, right? This would be how you could scale us Jbeams like that. And when you update the refresh, what it'll do is all of these will get new locations where they are now in different places. But then you're going to need to match it to the model, which you can import this in the Blender. It's not a Jbeam importer plugin, it's an exporter plugin. So you'd have to then kind of guess, I guess. I don't think this thing's got like. I guess you could show node names and you could say, okay, that's node number 4, and if node number 2, so you look for node number 4 and node number 2, and you say, okay, so well that's at 3, and node number 2 is at, where's 2? At minus 1.3, and that's meters, I believe. So you would do the math to see what the total height is. And then in here, you would have to go to like a front view, and then you would have to measure his height to make sure that it is the same. You could, however, also you got the option to join him all together like this. Maybe I missed something. It ain't that important. Export the OBJ, just say on your desktop. Let's call this Dum Dum. Selection only. You can bind it, so it's just that one thing. Then you go into here and you say file import reference mesh from OBJ. And then you would find it here and say, no, that's the material, the object, the OBJ, not the material. Say open. And here you can see the dummy. Let me hide these triangles. So you can see that it's the dummy now. That is one way you could do it, I guess. You could just scale his ass really large. I'll apply all transforms. I just want to make sure it is setting correctly. I'll just re-export OBJ dummy. Dum. There it is. I'll probably have to reload it in here. It's fine. I'll just reload it. Import reference mesh OBJ. Open. Alright, now you see where we're going, right? So then you would select all of the nodes that make this Jbeam. Then you would scale and move. So you can scale, you can move, and you'd want to get the thing looking like the other one. Or near as close as you could get it anyway. You may have to scale a little like this. Maybe you have to maybe I didn't do everything equally. I just kind of just eyeballed it. But I think that puts us in the ballpark anyway, right? So we'll refresh. Now we will save Jbeam. I'm going to re-import in the DAE, but I'm going to start a new file. You're about to see why. It'll make sense in a second. New general. No, don't save. Get rid of this shit. We don't need that. Import DAE of the dummy. There he is. Now this is not the one we scaled. This is the one that's still not joined. The one made for the mod, basically. So now we will import in the one that we just scaled for reference in the other program. Not export. I'm hitting the wrong thing. Import OBJ. Desktop. Where is the dum at? There he is. Import. Now, we just hide him for a moment. We'll select him and unhide him. Now we can scale these parts to match. Right. So we can delete that one we just imported. So this will be the DAE that we now export to go with the new Jbeam of the dummy. I'm going to apply all transforms. I'm not sure if I need to, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then I'm going to export everything as a DAE into that folder and overwrite the dummy that's in there now, which is the regular size dummy. This time I'm not doing selection only because actually everything is going. So export. Now when I load the game and load that dummy, which I need to put that in the vehicles folder if I'm going to do it, I'll use it that way. The way I got the folder, I have to do it like this. I'll just move it there. I got to where I try not to copy things and have place things in different places, because then you end up writing to the wrong folders and getting yourself irritated because you're like, damn, I know I just saved that damn file. Where's it at? Why ain't it here? Why ain't my texture here? Now, if everything worked correctly, we should have a super large dummy. Now this isn't the heavy thing yet. This is just a scaled dummy, which is kind of an answer to everyone asking how do you scale a car. Now I would not even know how to begin to write a mod that does all that for you. I could not tell you how to do that. I don't know. You see the amount of work that goes into just doing this. I don't see anything. Oh, there he is. Is that a supersized dummy? Well, sir, you can always spawn a vehicle and just check. So you'll spawn this one here. Well, yes, it is. It's a very large dummy. And you see his Jbeam is accurate. Ooh, what the hell was that? It almost looks like it's in slow motion, but it ain't. It's just because he's bigger, he's got more mass. Oh, it is in slow motion now. Okay, now it's not. That's kind of cool. So I can reset it. Let me pause it. Let me reset. Let me move him. Now I want to spawn in the regular dummy. Oh shit, I can't. He's not in there. Crap. Well, I do have the other one, the human dummy, that it's not finished, but this is actually the scale of the dummy that is the other dummy. Yeah, that's the regular. That's what the size the dummy normally is. Now, you're like, oh man, well, damn, you could scale the cars. No, no, not really. Um, because there's a lot more that goes into cars than just, you know, this. For example, you got the wheels, and you got the all the stuff that makes the wheels. And I don't mean what you look at. I'm talking about like the actual Jbeam. Let me just tab to it real quick. So here's the collision triangles, and then you got the nodes, and you got the beams, and it's like all these different parts all connect to different things. I mean, yeah, you could look at what connects to what, but the problem is the way like the wheels work, for example. It's not like um, how the dummy's parts are. Whereas the dummy, he's just got parts connected to like the head bones connected to the neck bone, and the neck bones connected to the thorax, and you know what I mean. Like all the parts are connected, but these connect, and these also have purpose. They have like uh, extra stuff that determines what it is, how big the tires are. It's shit. It's an, I'd have to damn load one up. Hold on a minute. I can't explain it for nothing. I know what I'm thinking, for the most part. I just don't know how to explain it. Let's see. Let's find the vehicle from the game. Desktop. Let's go to the install folder. Yeah, even if I knew how to do this completely, it would take an enormous amount of time to make a tutorial to explain it all. Maybe not so much for uh, this dummy, but like these cars, you're about to see why. Common BeamNG drive, content, vehicles. Let's just get the pickup truck. We'll extract this onto the desktop. Now, remember when I imported in that dummy, he had his arms, his legs, his feet, whatnot. When you when you spawn dummy in the game, you don't have like 50 different versions of dummy. Like, there's all the different kinds of cars you can spawn. Like when you go into here and you pick a car and you got all these types. All right, all these models to all these different types of cars all spawn at the same time, or load at the same time when you load them into here. Let me save this dummy. This is big dummy. Alright. Alright, let's import in the DAE of the pickup truck. Now this, you could use this example for any car. This is just more complicated. So you load it in. Alright, now look at all these are all different parts to all the different types. And to figure out which one's which, like if I start deleting fenders, you'll see a fender and a fender, and you'll see there's a lot of fenders. There's like a lot of different fenders to all them different cars, and I don't know the hell which one's which. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure somebody probably knows, but you see what I'm getting at. There's a lot of damn parts here. Now, I guess you probably could maybe select everything and scale it all like this. But let's say, okay, yeah, you did do that. Now let's consider the Jbeam part. That's the bone part, right? The inside parts. So let's load the Jbeam for the car, or that pickup. We'll just start a new project. Why is that still in there? I don't know. I ain't worried about it. Let's go to the folder for the pickup truck that we just extracted. Pickup truck. Alright. I want to say sort by type. Look how many Jbeams there are. Where'd they go? There they go. Look at all them Jbeam files. Because unlike that dummy that's all just in one Jbeam, this thing is split up over so many different parts. So you could load the body, for example. And this is the nodes for it, the beams and all that shit. Then you got, all these others. That's a lot of stuff. Let's load it into the editor to put it in perspective in here. So we'll just start loading them in here. So we got the body. Remember how I scaled the dummy? Well, it wasn't too bad to select all these and say scale. It'd be better if you could manually type in like a value, but that ain't how it works. I just have to make scale like this. Oh, maybe that is what that does. I didn't ever see. Hell, I can't damn see it. I didn't do anything. Yeah, that ain't doing shit. But, alright, so that's just the body, or the cab of the pickup truck. Then you got all these other, you got that one, you got this part, you got this part. These are like the bones, you know what I mean? This is what actually has the physics. I don't even know which one goes to which. I may forget one. I could forget one. I don't know. There's just a lot of different parts. And like now I've done run out of memory or something. Now it doesn't even show them all anymore. But I would think maybe you could load them all into here like this. That's just so much damn work. Look at all that shit. You have to like, ooh-wee. And that ain't even just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more. Now the thing about them Disney cars now, they're not so complicated because they don't got 5,000 parts, or 5,000 different Jbeams. They they're pretty much limited to just the motor, the transmission, the wheels, and the body, and the frame. Maybe there's a couple other things I'm not thinking of, but uh, this is the Disney car. So if we look at its Jbeams, there's just one for the body. But um, this is the one that I modified. I don't think this has the original, all the other stuff in it. No, this is the one that I modified. No, the other one, it's got like a few different things. I don't have it in here right now, but maybe that kind of gives you an idea of what you would have to do. It's not like I can just make a new mod and like up in here somewhere type, you know, scale blah 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 and scale this and scale that. I don't think it works. I think the only thing you can scale, you can have the maybe have the mod scale just the part of the car that's the part that you see here. But then it's like, well, you're kind of guessing. See, I don't really see ever getting to a point that I understand these things enough to really explain that. But something simple like the dummy, yeah, the Disney car, maybe I can do that maybe in about another month if I, focus a lot on it. Maybe 2 more months. There's still some things that I don't understand yet about modding when it comes to how the wheels attach to the frames, and it's making more sense. It's becoming clearer. It's just gonna take a lot longer to get it all worked out in my head. And even if I got it figured out in my head, it's gonna take me a little longer before I can explain it in a way that doesn't confuse everybody. Hell, I confuse myself. So I know I'd confuse y'all. Alright, so I'm going to stop this video and then I'm going to start the other video that's going to be about replacing that dummy with the heavy guy.